intelligent and creative. I am bold and determined. I rely on teamwork, and I am accountable. I am a competitor who will defend my territory. I love to play and will never give up. I am committed for life because I am a Raven.
Carleton University acknowledges the location of its campus on the traditional unceded territories of the Algonquin Nation. So sit back, recline your seats, lower your tray tables. Here's your audio pilot for the next hour, Ricky Kamba. Ricky, tell us about yourself and the program ahead, and have a great show.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be here. Yes, my name is Ricky Kamba. I'm a fourth-year journalism student and member of the men's varsity soccer team. I'm super excited to be here, and we've got a great show for you. It's a grad show. It's a water celebration. So we've got a few things going on that you'll enjoy, I'm sure. Now, to kickstart the program, it is my honor to introduce the Carleton President and Chair of Canadian Youth Sports, Benoit Bacon, to say a few words of welcome.
Good evening, bonsoir tout le monde. I'm Benoit Antoine Bacon. It's my real pleasure to welcome you to Thursday Night Live as both President of Carleton University and as Chair of Youth Sports. It's an honor to be here with you, our community of alumni, season ticket holders, fans and friends of Carleton Athletics, to celebrate the resiliency and dedication of our graduating Ravens. Even under normal circumstances, balancing the rigor of athletics and academics takes incredible commitment and strength. And our current reality has presented new and unique challenges for our student athletes. This evening is to recognize the accomplishments of our Ravens, whose passion and aspirations have kept them going in the face of adversity. Athletics is much more than sport itself. It's a philosophy. It's a noble way of life that goes back to ancient times. It spreads pride and inspiration at Carleton and all over our city. For our graduating Ravens, we look forward to following the next steps of your journey as part of the Carleton alumni family. And wherever you go, I know you'll make us very proud. Congratulations. Félicitations. Have a great evening, everyone.
Thank you, President Bacon. Now we're going to switch over to Jennifer Brenning, a very familiar face around campus, for a welcome and athletics update. Jennifer, for 16 years, has been the leader and assistant vice president of recreation and athletics at Carleton, and I'm happy to pass the podium over to her. Welcome to the program, Jennifer.
Thank you, Ricky, and thank all of you for joining us for Thursday Night Live, celebrating our graduating student athletes. As our president just stated, our graduates have had the toughest year of any graduating class. They are graduating under the most trying circumstances with distant online learning, as well as on-again, off-again training, with no competitive season, no in-person celebrations, or graduating ceremonies. However, they have shown us leadership, resiliency, and perseverance. I am so very impressed with our student athletes. As they highlighted in our March Thursday Night Live, our Varsity Council and student athletes were very active this year, promoting equity, diversity, inclusion, mental health, cancer awareness, engaging in our community, adopted a long-term care facility with virtual meetings with the elderly, making kits for the homeless, and collecting toys and food through the holiday drives. All that while studying as well as training. In addition, you'll hear tonight from our varsity student athletes the fun initiatives they did to celebrate our year end in this most unprecedented year. They had some fun awards that they'll share with you. In terms of the upcoming 21-22 season, we are focusing on getting our student athletes ready to compete this fall. Yes, we plan to compete this fall. Over the summer, our strength, medical, and coaching staff will be preparing our student athletes those that are here in Ottawa. We are hoping to be reopened end of May or early June. The good news is the COVID numbers are coming down. And the really good news is our young adults will be able to get vaccinated at the end of May. So that's all good. The OUA and RSCQ are planning for league play in the fall. We have pushed the start dates to later September, so training camps will start Labor Day weekend. We've realigned our conference so that we avoid as much as possible the overnight stays, so that has reduced the number of games. The league schedules are actually in draft form being circulated right now to our members and to provide feedback. So we actually have schedules in hand that we're providing feedback back to the OUA by May 25th. We will be following all the provincial and sport organization health and safety guidelines. The university is planning for a mixed model of academic delivery in person and online. Most of the large classes will be online, and with a gradual return of staff and faculty to campus by late summer. I want to thank you all for joining us this evening and celebrating our amazing student athletes' accomplishments and welcoming them into our Ravens alumni family. Back to you, Ricky.
Thank you, Jennifer. Now, like Jennifer said, with it being the grad show, it's only right that we speak to a few grads. So in a fun little Q&A that I like to call Ricky's Rapid Fire, we're going to get all to the good nitty-gritty stuff of these graduates. So first with us today, we've got Alex Mann. How you doing, Alex?
Good, Ricky. Thanks for having me.
So Alex, tell us a bit about yourself, where you're from, your program, your sport.
I'm from Nova Scotia. I grew up, born and raised just outside Lunenburg, on the Atlantic coast of Nova Scotia. That's where I am now, actually. And yeah, just finishing up my 4th year at Carleton in mechanical engineering. So assuming all the exams went as I hoped they did, then that degree's done.
Oh, I'm sure they did. I'm sure they did. So we're going to move into the rapid fire, Alex. I'm just going to throw some questions at you, and to the best of your ability, just give me the best answer you got. All right?
All right. Sounds good.
So first, what was the best goal you've ever scored?
Best goal I ever scored. Well, I had a lot more of those when I was younger, but I remember actually our Bantam provincial championships. I had an overtime game winner that, yeah, when you're a low point scoring defenseman, you don't always end up with too many overtime winners, but that one sticks out for sure.
Well, that's got to be a pretty special moment, especially for a defenseman. It's got to be one of the highlights of your career there. What is the funniest moment? What is the funniest moment?
I've got a lot more of those, actually. As far as sport goes, I mean, there's a lot of funny moments on the ice, but there's probably even more off the ice. And it's hard to think of one, but those moments are kind of, as I'm looking into life beyond my hockey career, those moments in dressing rooms and in hotel rooms and stuff are definitely what I'm going to miss most, because those were jam-packed with funny moments.
I feel like I've got a few of those too.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure those are some things that you're going to miss. What are you not going to miss? What are you not going to miss?
I think I've started to realize that, you know, I really enjoyed a lot of the training while I was in the thick of it. And I still enjoy training, but I've also just in this last year, kind of enjoyed the freedom in the training. You know, I don't have to focus on one particular thing or make sure that, you know, my explosive power is still there. So I've gotten a lot more into cycling and stuff like that. So I'm still very active and still very competitive, as it's all kind of wound down, but kind of the freedom to just kind of do whatever activity and whatever training I really invested in at the time, I think.
That's cool. That's really cool to hear. So having said all that, what are you going to miss the most?
Oh, yeah, I think that again ties back to just the friendships and I mean, as all the athletes that are here tonight know, the best part of being about a teammate and being on a team is getting to come in and see your teammates every day for 3 or 4 hours a day, regardless of if you've got exams going on or whatever else at home. You get to come and hang out and have those fun times. That's definitely what I'm going to miss most, for sure.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And then last one for you. What's your pregame routine?
Pre-game, well, I think most people in the sport world would understand that involves a pretty specific length nap, and so I get at least an hour in normally, and that's directly following my pre-game meal of chicken and rice and maybe a few veggies, but nothing too crazy. And after that, it's pretty straight warm-ups and the same soccer games. And I guess I don't know what you guys do. You guys don't play hockey for your warm up, but yeah, no, it's all straight, but it's all regimented from noon onwards for a 7 p.m. game. So it definitely takes up a lot of time.
No, yeah, for sure. That is one thing we do have in common is we both do some soccer for our warm ups, regardless of.
Yeah, I figured. Yeah.
So no, it's awesome to have you on, Alex. Appreciate it very much.
No, thanks for having me.
No problem, no problem. And now we're gonna move over to Roberta. So Roberta, how you doing?
I'm great. Thank you for having me. How are you?
I'm fantastic. I'm doing great. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, your program, your sport?
Sure. So my name's Roberta. I'm just finishing my 5th year, my Bachelor of Biology. Kind of finished with my general degree, and I'll be actually coming back next year to finish my honors, and I'll play my last year of eligibility, thankfully. I'm from a town outside of Belleville, Ontario, little hick town. No one really knows where it is. Started playing rugby when I was in high school. I'm actually going into my 10th season as a rugby player this fall. So I've been playing rugby for just under half my life, which is pretty crazy. Yeah, from Belleville, came to Carleton, love the program, got a rugby scholarship. They welcomed me with open arms. Came in as a 19-year-old, scared as hell, and walked into training camp not knowing what to expect, and I'll be leaving 24 years old, so not as scared anymore.
And now you're here on the show, so it just keeps getting better. So we're going to get into the rapid fire, going to get into the questions. The first one for you, what are you most looking forward to going back?
Oh my gosh. Obviously COVID kind of robbed all the varsity athletes of their last season. And there's a lot of girls and guys who aren't in a position where I am, where they can't come back to play their last season. So I think just coming back and kind of finishing the unfinished business we left with. We didn't have our best season last year. So there was definitely unfinished business that needed to be taken care of. So coming back and playing my last year with the jersey on is what I'm most looking forward to.
For sure, for sure. So for you, what is your favorite moment ever on the field?
Okay, when I was in 3rd year, we made program history for Carleton Rugby. It was a huge moment for our program. It was the first year we were ranked top 10 in the country. I think we were ranked number 6. Big moment for us. The program is really, really young, so it was a massive milestone. We were playing a game against University of Montreal at Carleton on home turf. It was crazy. We were up by 2, and there was like 3 or 4 minutes left of the game. Montreal was down on our end. A bunch of stuff happened. They had a line out, and we needed to get the ball out of bounds to finish the game. So they threw the ball in. We intercepted the line out. I got the ball in my hands, and I kicked the ball out of bounds to end the game. And we beat Montreal for the first time in program history, and then B, that game secured our spot in the playoffs for the first time ever in program history. So that was definitely my best moment.
No, yeah, that's an incredible moment. That's an incredible moment to have and just keep with you forever to be part of that. Now, moving a little bit away from that, what's the funniest moment that you've ever had with your team?
Kind of like Alex said, I don't know how to pick one. Like, there's so many funny moments. And as soon as you asked him, I started trying to think of mine. And there's this one weird one. We always watch film after our games are finished. Obviously, like the next day you rewatch the games. And there was this like series of plays where I play scrum half. So I stand behind the breakdown, and a prop from the other team fell down and she took my legs out like as I was running across the field, and I just completely face planted. And then in the background, one of the girls on my team had lost her cleat, and instead of putting it back on her foot, she just threw it on the sideline. And then like another girl fell down, and it was just like this super weird series of plays. And then like watching it afterwards, you don't realize it's happening. We were all watching in the team room after, and we just lost it. Like we probably laughed for like 10 minutes straight. It was so funny.
That's awesome. Just a crazy domino effect. I know I'm asking you guys to pick one funny moment, but there's so many that we have over these years of playing. It's just
yeah. Like we do karaoke on the bus. It's like a rookie kind of thing. It's always rookie karaoke on our first away game of the season, and the coaches always like get in on it. So one year, Pat, our old head coach, sang Uptown Funk, and these big like headphones on, so he couldn't hear himself, and he was just scream singing Uptown Funk on the bus to Laval. Those like crazy long bus rides, and yeah, again, super funny.
Now, it's interesting that you bring that up, because I know a lot of the soccer guys are often hearing the rugby music. I know it's vice versa. So what is your go-to song or your go-to music on game day?
Oof. Okay. I'm from a hick town, so I listen to country music. So there's a little bit of country in my pregame, but I'd say right before I get on the field, Cinderella Man by Eminem is actually like the very last song I listen to before I head out.
No, that's a good track. It's a good track. And then one last question for you. What are you going to miss the most?
I don't know, like you're only a varsity athlete once in your entire life. So all of it, like I'm going to miss training camp, even though it's hot as heck and you hate every minute of it. I'm going to miss, getting treated in athletic therapy when you're holding back tears, when Nadine has her elbow in your butt. Just, I'm going to miss it all. I'll miss pre-games, I'll miss the games, I'll miss the wins, I'll miss the losses. But I think those moments before you head out onto the field. I was the captain last year and the year before, so I get to do a little pregame speech and like hype everybody up. And there's this like sense of calm that kind of comes over everybody right before we head out of the ice house, when we have home games. And I'm always the last person out the door. I like make it my mission to be the last out the door. I watch everyone get onto the field, and I smack the ice house door as a way of saying like let's go, and then I run out onto the field. So I think like that moment right before we hear the music, right before I run out onto the field, and I see my teammates like lined up in front of me. That's the one feeling I'm gonna miss definitely like the most.
Mm-hmm. Those few moments right before we get to play are some of the best ones. That anticipation of just being able to go out on the pitch. Now, I know that you're a leader in varsity council, and you had a hand in the varsity awards, and I believe you also won an award.
Yeah.
So can you tell me a bit about that?
Sure. So normally in a regular season, we have a varsity banquet. It's at Lansdowne. It's this like amazing thing. All the athletes are there. All the athletic staff is there, and we give out awards for like MVP, coaches award, top female, top male athlete, and we also usually do some funny awards because we didn't have a season this year. We just did funny awards. I was nominated for most likely to be caught flexing in the high performance center. So by like flexing my muscles in the high performance center. I'm pretty proud of it, I guess. I beat out some football guys, and I think that probably says a lot about how often they actually do catch me flexing in there. Yeah, it was a super fun award. It's hard. There's lots of mirrors in the high performance center. You want to check yourself out. I don't know. It's just a thing. I came in as this like really undersized as player when I was in first year, and I made it my mission to kind of like bulk up a little bit. So I think I've kind of earned it. So yeah, most likely to be caught flexing in the HPC went to me.
If you've got them, flaunt them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Roberta, for talking with me and telling me some great memories that you've had. Really appreciate you being on the show. Next, we're going to move into Jenny and Jolene Wong.
Hi.
How are you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Fantastic. I'm doing great. So.
Okay, I guess I'll go first. So I'm Jenny.
Yeah. I was going to say, if people on the program couldn't tell, they are sisters.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us a bit about yourselves?
So we're both born and raised in Ottawa. I'm studying biology, and I'm studying business with a concentration in marketing. So we're both just finished our 5th year. So we're finally done our undergrads.
That's awesome. That's awesome. What is it like? I have to ask first and foremost, what is it like having a sister to not only go to the same school, but to be on the same team? What's that like?
I mean, I think for us, we've gone to school and have only ever played on the same team for so long that we don't really know anything different. We've played on the same team since we were 5 years old. So it's really common for us. I mean, I think for our teammates, it always takes a little bit of getting used to about figuring out who's who. In terms of school, I think we suddenly realized that there's a lot more double takes and a lot of misidentification once we got to university, because we were in such different programs and no one really knew we had twins. So there was a lot of misidentification around campus.
Yeah, I think it's a really cool part about having like a sister on the team too, is like you train together. So you always have a training buddy, which like through COVID has definitely been something that's amazing, because a lot of people are left at home by themselves. So we have a built-in teammate right here. So we knew the level and the standards we had to keep each other at. So it's a nice way to also hold each other accountable as well. So really good. And we also push each other. There's a bit of sibling rivalry in there always. So a nice little competitive advantage there to always push yourself a little bit harder for sure.
No, yeah, that's good. It's always good to have someone else push you and move forward. So now for the questions, each of you, what is the best moment that you can remember with your squad? Best moment.
Cool. Best. I think that's hard to choose. I mean, one that definitely stands out was when we tied Ottawa U when I was in my 2nd year. It had been a long time coming, and they're obviously one of our biggest rivals. So I think that was really fun. I mean, morning training sessions are also, I mean, always a blast, but I think that was kind of like, it was our last game of the season and really kind of just culminated at the end with kind of not having a good result against Ottawa U.
Mm-hmm.
I think for me, in my first year, I had suffered a few injuries, so didn't really get to play some of my later seasons. But my first year, we got to beat Queens. And I remember one of the 5th years on our team at that point actually said she had never beaten Queens in all of her time at Carleton. So I think to see that kind of come forward and really accomplish that was something that was really big, because Carleton hadn't beaten Queens in a while. And I think also just kind of getting to step back on the field for a game, because I had been injured for so long in my 4th year, was something really special, because that had been a few years in the making. So really owe that to athletic therapy and the strength and conditioning coaches who got me there, and all the coaches and teammates that supported me.
No, yeah, that's awesome. We got a huge support staff, and it's always good to beat the Gales. It's never a bad feeling. So for both you guys, what's the funniest moment you can remember in your squads?
So
That's an easy one.
So a few years ago, it was March and there was snow outside, but there was going to be an ID camp later that weekend, and our coaches needed the fields cleared, but we couldn't shovel the fields. So our team actually went out and dragged nets across and played tag on the snow to help the snow melt. And there was like people just like singing like songs as we did it, and like pushing nets across the field and running around like throwing snow at each other. I think that was probably one of the funniest moments I remember, just because it was such a not typical practice for like for a Carleton practice. Like you expect certain things and you come in and you're like, you get told you guys are playing on the snow and you're going to start with tag. Like that was just like a really fun practice, and it was also one of our last practices of the year, but very different, but it was hilarious. Probably one of the funniest moments, I think, for sure.
Those are some of the best moments, when they're just so wacky and so out of the blue, and you're not used to them, and they just come and they hit you.
Yeah,
For sure.
Moving next, haven't asked this question yet. What's the best advice each of you have gotten in your time at Carleton, whether it be from a coach or a teammate?
Never take anything for granted, I think would be one of the best ones. I think we've heard it from past, like our veterans when we were in our 1st and 2nd year. We've heard it from coaches, but you never know when your last time. I think it's even more noticeable this year for the seniors that are graduating. You never know when that last time is that you're going to get to put on the Ravens crest or the Ravens jersey. So really just cherish like every single moment where you get to be with your team. You get to have the amazing athletic staff, the great HPC coaches. Really just cherish every single moment, because you never know when it's going to end. And when it does end, it's not the best feeling, because you've been in that atmosphere for 5 years.
Yeah, I think I agree 100% with Jenny. I think especially because you don't know when that last time is. You never know if an injury will sideline you, if COVID, a pandemic happens and that ends your season or your year. Definitely just cherishing every opportunity you get to be a part of such an amazing program is something everybody needs to definitely take advantage of and be really grateful for.
No, for sure. That definitely hit home, I think, with everyone this past year. And we're just so fortunate, and to have it all taken away is crazy. Now, here's a little bit of a different question. There's a Subway and a Timmy's in athletics, and I know everyone loves going to both. So what is your favorite thing to eat in athletics? What's your go-to snack?
I am definitely a Tim Hortons person. Because of our schedules, we share cars. So we ended up at I ended up at Tim's quite often because we'd end up at school for Jenny's 8:30s, like 4 days a week. So tea from Tim Hortons is definitely a lifesaver quite often. Mine would definitely be the apple fritter donuts. Guilty pleasure after a long week of practice or right before my anatomy lab.
Both sound good. Both sound good. I know this past few years with me, my kryptonite was the fact that Timmy's was selling those hockey cards. So every excuse I had, I was going there and buying something off the menu just to get my hands on those cards. But yeah, good times, good times. So now I also understand that you guys had a hand, like Roberta did, in the varsity awards. So can you guys tell me a bit about that, the awards?
Yeah, for sure. So kind of like Roberta said, the Joke Awards are organized every year. All the varsity athletes get to vote on them, as well as staff if they should choose so. This year, I won most likely to become the next master chef. So that's a picture of, I think that was a lava cake that I made. So which is kind of funny because like our dad's a chef, so I kind of, but like didn't really teach me. Like he taught me how to cook a bit, but like I learned most of my baking from my mom, which is kind of funny. Yeah, there were some really cool entries that people submitted. Like someone submitted like a really cool cake. There were some different like steak dinners. There were some really like tough competitors in that category. We also had another category called coolest quarantine hobby this year, which I think was something really, really fun that we got to do. So as you can see here, Emma Weller from women's hockey won. And over the course of quarantine, she was making mittens and hats and care packages for the homeless. So I think that's a really cool like hobby to give back to the community, and especially in such a time of need where there are so many people that really needed help, and she was right there helping the Ottawa community. So I think that was a very well-deserved award for such a deserving athlete. And then one of the other Joke Awards, we also like to include the coaches in some of our Joke Awards. And so we always like to do coach with the best hair, but ask all the athletes and teams to nominate bald coaches. So there were lots of different coaches, obviously, that happened to be bald. So Kwesi Loney, Taffy Charles, Dom Oliveri, and then Nick Westcott, who was our winner, were all nominated for the category, and a few others as well. But I think it's a fun award to get to include the coaches in, and I think they all kind of enjoy that one award is kind of geared towards the coaches, and I think it's a good laugh, and it's a classic award that needs to come back even at a time of COVID. So definitely lightens a little bit of the mood for sure.
Do we know how tight the competition was? Did Nick win it by a hair?
He won it by a landslide, I would say, for the most part this year.
I think the next person was like 20 to 30 votes less than him. So
yeah, Nick was the far winner for sure this year. Not too much competition, surprisingly.
So Nick's definitely doing something right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for being on the show. Really appreciate talking to you guys and hearing what you guys had to say about your time here. So
thank you for
joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
No problem. Now we're gonna move to Logan Marks. Logan, how you doing?
I'm good. Thanks, Ricky. How are you?
I'm fantastic. I'm doing good. So again, just tell me a little bit about yourself, where you're from, your program, your sport.
So I'm from Collingwood, which is a small town north of Toronto, and I'm graduating this year. I'm graduating this year with my Bachelor of Arts in Criminology.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. We're going to move into the rapid fire with you. Okay. All right, so we're just going to fire off some questions. So what is your favorite moment? What is your all-time favorite moment, the happiest you've ever been?
My favorite moment was probably when our relay team, we were seated like pretty last in the race. I think we were seated like 8 and we ended up coming 4th, which is still not like, we didn't win, but it was like a really big moment for all of us and we're happy to move up that far.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
What is your funniest moment? What made you laugh the most?
The funniest moment. Yeah, there's so many. One of our funniest moments was actually at the last year, at the end of the year, we had like a big, just fun swim meet. And one of our coaches, we all just grabbed her and threw her in the pool. So yeah, that was pretty, she was clothed and everything, so.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. What is your go-to song on game day?
My go-to song. I'm actually kind of like Roberta. I'm from kind of a hick town. So yeah, I would say mine's all country music as well.
Anyone specific, any specific artist, any specific song?
Luke Bryan, he's the go-to.
Okay. Okay. What are you gonna miss the most?
Like all the athletes were saying, I will definitely miss the team aspect and just not being able to see, like, our team was such a big family and not being able to see them every day will definitely be sad and missed for sure.
For sure, for sure. And what is your race day routine? What do you get up to? What are you doing before you get in that pool?
Race day routine. Definitely make sure to get a good night's sleep and to eat a good meal before. Yeah, and it's important to like get in the zone. I like to have like a good warm up and make sure I'm eating, make sure I have lots of liquids in me, and yeah, getting pumped up.
And what are you looking most forward to next? I know that's a big question. I haven't asked that one yet.
That's a hard question. I don't know yet, but looking forward to being able to do kind of anything. Like I have the opportunity to do more with swimming or to get into another sport or to have the opportunity to train with other people. So definitely that.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's awesome. That's really great to hear.
Yeah.
Now, Logan, I understand that you're going to take over from this point, moving into the halftime celebration. So I'll leave it up to you. I'm going to sign off here. This will be my moment of goodbye. So thank you for speaking to me, and podium over to you.
Thank you. So as you know, my name is Logan, and I have been on the swim team for all 4 years of my years at Carleton, and I can easily say that it's definitely been the best part of my university experience. I was assistant captain in my 3rd year, and then I was captain this year in my 4th year. And being captain was also one of the best experiences, and I got to have the opportunity to help lead the team. Also being able to welcome the rookies in the best way, as they are the future leaders of our team, was a very important role. So now I'd like to introduce Pierre, who is the head coach of the Carleton swim team. Hi, Pierre.
Hi there. How are you?
Can you tell us a bit about your coaching background?
You know what? I've been blessed to have coached around 3 different continents and worked with international teams. I started as a coach for Little 8 and Unders as a swimming coach, and made it through the ranks like anybody else. And I always felt that, you know, if I was going to expect the athletes to be 100% all the time, I needed to be 101% all the time. So, you know, my 30, 40 years of coaching was about searching to be 100%, to be one of the best in the world. And it's kind of exciting to be able to carry all of this together. And when I came back to Canada to be a national coach here, and then worked at a different CEO, a different organization, but taking over Carleton in September was kind of a dream for me, because I was the varsity coach at Calgary in the 80s when it was our heyday and we'd won 4 national championships in a row. And I always thought, you know what, I'm going to make sure that before I retire, I have a chance to do something for another varsity program. And there's no better place than Carleton. I think it's probably the program in the country that's got the most upside at this point in time. And it's just a matter of building something pretty magical. That's kind of the way I see it.
Yeah, for sure. And this year with COVID and everything, what have you found have been the biggest challenges to your coaching?
It's not so much a challenge to my coaching is it was kind of a challenge to build an incredible environment for all of you athletes to come and really feel like you want to come to the pool and push yourself. And so there's not a really as much interpersonal relationship allowed. We couldn't really spend a lot of time on the pool deck and talk, and we needed spacing. So I think the biggest challenge for me wasn't necessarily the water part, but it was about, creating something, for you as a senior, but also for the freshmen. So they go like, wow, I can't wait for the next 3 years, and I can't wait to represent the Ravens. So to me, that was probably the hardest part. But I actually think we accomplished some really cool things. And even within the challenge of no competition, we were able to really do things in training that not a lot of people were able to do around the country. So I think that was a good one. I'm just looking forward to a little bit less restriction next year.
Yeah.
And there's quite a few young freshmen coming in next year already that are very good. So we're going to have a pretty cool team next year.
Yeah. And my final question for you is, what does the future of our team look like to you? And what are your goals to move it forward?
It's a good question, because I do think that the world's ahead of us. But we need to start doing things that nobody else in the country is doing. We need to train, better and harder than anybody else in the country. There's no reason we can't do that. I think we need to set some pretty cool and strong goals. Like, can we break 75% of all of our club records, of our varsity records? Can we have every one of our relay at OUA and make top 8? I think we need to, with the team in September, create those goals as a team. And then, I'm a strong believer that the relays in swimming is a huge platform, because there's 4 or 5 people fighting for those spots, and it's how you build a team. So to me, if we could look at 3, 4, 5 years from now, if we could look at being a powerhouse in the OUA sooner than later, I think we've got some good swimmers in the program already. And from what I see, there's a handful of other great young freshmen that will be coming in. So I'm excited for the future. And at the end, I would say, can we get a kid on the Olympic team in 2028 somewhere in the world? Because we have athletes from all over the world in our program. It's only 7 years from now, so it's like tomorrow.
Yeah, that's a good goal. Okay, thanks so much, Pierre. And now I'd like to introduce Lynn Marshall. And Lynn Marshall is the assistant coach of the swim team, and she's also the team manager. Hi, Lynn.
Hi, Logan.
So how long have you been involved with the team at Carleton, and what changes have you seen over the years?
Yeah, so I've been involved with the Ravens swim team for many years, not quite from the beginning, but since about 1989 when I started training with the team. And then in 2001, I got involved with coaching and managing. So been involved for quite a few years. And I thought it might be interesting for everyone if I just went over some of the highlights from the 40 years of history for the team. So the team started in the 1981-82 season, when it was just basically a swim club at Carleton. It was started by Tom Anzai, and Tom Anzai unfortunately passed away in 2017, and just recently we renamed the swim team bursary in Tom's honor. So that was something that I think is awesome to memorialize him in our bursary, as he was instrumental in getting the team started at Carleton. So then 4 years later, in the 1985-86 season, the team was granted varsity status and started with a bang, with breaststroker Chris Pilon winning the male OUA Swimmer of the Meet honors. So sort of the very first year was one of the biggest highlights of the team so far. In 1988-89, the men placed 4th at OUAs, which is, I believe, is the highest placing. And Stefan Oliva was the chosen as Carleton's male athlete of the year. Then in 1992-93, Don Burton, who's still a coach in Ontario, he won a U Sport bronze medal in 50 breaststroke, and to date he's the only Carleton swimming U Sport medalist, and he also got Carleton's male athlete of the year that season. In 94-95, Erica Kotler got Carleton's female athlete of the year award. In 97-98, the men won the OU East Division. And then a few years later, in 2004-05, the men won the Enon Division Championships. In 2005-2006, Keegan Harris was the Carleton Male Graduating Athlete of the Year. And then in 2007-08, what happened at that time was the team moved from a varsity status to a competitive club status. So what happened then was that the team moved under an age group team that trains at Carleton, the Rock Swim team, and they took over the administration as well as the coaching of the team. Unfortunately, that sort of led to a bit of a decrease in the size of the team because with losing the varsity status, we lost a lot of funding, and it was very expensive. And the swimmers felt they weren't really part of a university team because it was administered by an outside group. So the team shrunk to sort of single digits, I think down to a low of sort of 4 or 5 swimmers for a couple of years. And then in 2016-17, under the leadership of the head coach at that time, Brian Hill, the team moved back under the university umbrella. And that worked really well for the team because we were able to have some very successful future funder campaigns with the help of our alumni. And thus we were able to reduce the team fees, and the swimmers felt like they were part of a university varsity team. And the team has now grown back to close to the maximum competitive size for a swim team at the OUA level. In 2019-2020, we were able to hold our first Florida training camp in over a decade, which was quite a milestone and a lot of work, but very fun for everybody. And then bringing us to this season, 2021, this is the 40th season of the team, or the 36th since the original varsity status was achieved. And we're thrilled to have Pierre Lafontaine as the new head coach. He's brought so much enthusiasm to the team. Everybody is thrilled to have him as the coach. Everyone's really happy to be at the pool and happy to be on deck. So we're very excited going forward into next year and look forward to see what this brings for us.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, and I know everyone's looking forward to Pierre's coaching, so should be good. Okay, so that's everything from me, and now I'd like to bring it back to Jeff.
Okay, we've got our halftime celebration coming up, and let's enjoy this video.
Hi, my name is Amélie Chartrand, and I'll be graduating with a Bachelor of Public Affairs and Policy Management.
Hi, my name is Logan Marks, and I'm graduating with a BA Honors in Criminology.
My name is Jacob Spearings, and I'm taking a Bachelor of Arts with a major in History.
Mustafa Kemben, Bachelor of Mechanical Engineering.
My name is Ward Vershabe, and I am graduating with a degree in marketing from the Bachelor of Commerce program at Carleton.
One of the most popular segments on our program is Ravens Rewind, compiled by Cole Lawrence, our social media guru. So sit back and enjoy the show as Cole from Athletics rewinds the top social media moments of the school year on the Ravens Rewind. Please enjoy.
Hey Carleton alumni, Cole Lawrence here from the Ravens marketing team with another episode of Ravens Rewind. Instead of just looking at 1 month, we'll be taking a look back at the biggest and most viral content from Sea Ravens from the entire 2020-21 season. During a season of lockdowns and staying at home, your Ravens took to social media to show everyone why they're still the best in youth sports. This is Ravens Rewind.
Welcome to the official reveal of Ontario Post-Secondary Esports.
In case you haven't heard already, the Ravens were a founding member in the new Ontario Post-Secondary Esports League. This league includes 17 Ontario colleges and universities, including Carleton, U-Ottawa, Queens, Western, and more. 200 plus competitors fought it out over 4 different video game titles for $24,000 in scholarships. The big news was recently featured on CTV.
When you think of the sports rivalry between Carleton and U-Ottawa, The Panda Games probably come to mind, but not every athlete who wears the Ravens name
I'm wearing the jersey right now as well.
plays traditional sports.
Jack is looking for a bomb. It's over the edge.
Jack Morales is on the Carleton Ravens Overwatch team, competing with other post-secondary schools across Ontario in esports or electronic sports, possibly creating the next sports superstars.
I think in 5-10 years down the line, we're going to see esports kind of stars as like maybe a mainstream thing.
Peter Sperling, CTV News.
Congrats to the Ravens esports team for winning the first ever Hearthstone Championship. We can't wait to see what year 2 of the OPSC brings.
Come on, let's go, me and you and Zaboomeroo. Come along and see what's new. We're doing the things that animals do.
What's the connection between Ravens men's soccer and the hit TV series Zaboomeroo? The show's star, Martin Kratt, is father to one of Carleton's newest recruits, Ronan Kratt. Ronan is a highly talented striker born in Ottawa. He played high school for an elite academy in Arizona and committed to Carleton in only his 3rd year. He turned down multiple NCAA Division I offers to join the Ravens. Being the son of the Zaboomeroo legend has led to a wild life. He's even voiced his own character on the cartoon Wild Kratts. Ronan is excited to build his own legacy with the Ravens starting next season. Now for the current stars of Ravens men's soccer. 3 of the Ravens heard their names called in the 2021 CPL draft. Defender Chris Malikos went to Ottawa's new franchise, Stefan Karyovanovich went to Halifax, and Tony McHale, who played with the National Lebanon team, went to Winnipeg. Watch out for more highlight plays like this in the CPL 2021 season. Another pro-Canadian League saw a trio of Ravens selected. The CEBL continues to show its strong ties with Carleton. The high-flying Isaiah Osborne was picked number 2 overall by the Guelph Nighthawks. Lloyd Pandy, who won CEBL U Sports Player of the Year last season, went to the Niagara River Lions. And finally, UBC transfer and Canada national team member Grant Shepard joins Lloyd in Niagara. These guys are going to be a ton of fun to watch in the Ravens Nest next season. Last year, Ravens kicker Vincent Plouffe went viral on TikTok, kicking 70-yard field goals. To put that in perspective, the NFL record for longest in-game field goal is 64 yards. These videos received millions of views on his TikTok account. Ravens men's soccer midfielder Scott Mazzata decided to get in on the action. He posted this long field goal attempt in running shoes, which experts have estimated to be over 60 yards. We'll let you decide. Vincent quickly responded in the fall with an official 62-yard attempt, and his teammates were absolutely loving it.
This trophy, we'll see here. Oh man, oh!
Tom Brady throwing the Lombardi trophy off his boat might have been the biggest meme from the Super Bowl, but a close second was the weekend's halftime performance. The moment of him going underneath his stage started a new meme trend with everyone getting in on the action. It reminded us a little too much of the panic of going through the tunnels at Carleton as a first-year student. So we made it into a meme. This meme quickly blew up on the Sea Ravens Instagram for over 2,500 likes, making it our biggest post in our Instagram's history. Last but not least, the CFL draft was held on Tuesday night. Linebacker Trevor Hoyt was taken 33rd overall to the Toronto Argos. He becomes the 80th Raven ever selected in the CFL draft. He joins his linebacker bestie Jack Cassar, who was taken 11th overall by the Argos last season. Guelph transfer Alan Simonkinda was taken 2 picks later by the Rough Riders. You can see the full list of every Raven ever selected on goravens.ca. Well, that wraps up another episode of Ravens Rewind. Our marketing team still had a great time making content for the Ravens, even in the season without any games. Don't forget to follow us on social media at @CRavens, @CRavensFootball, and @CRavensBball. I want to thank Trevor and the alumni group for having me on again, and I look forward to seeing everyone on the next show. Have a great night.
Thanks very much, Cole. As the students would say nowadays, that absolutely slapped. And as we said last week, video adroitness bordering on superfluity. What Harry Styles is to One Direction, Cole Lawrence is to Carleton Ravens social media. We're going to circle back a little bit. We're going to go back to Roberta Drummond. You guys mentioned something earlier in the show about some awards. Are there any other awards that we can talk about?
Yeah, absolutely. We like to make fun of people who think they can dance at Carleton. So like Ricky was saying earlier, you can often hear our music playing in the change room. We love to dance on the rugby team. So one of the awards this year was the 2 Left Feet Award. And one of the women on my team, Malak, was awarded the 2 Left Feet Award. Honestly, I thought she can dance better. She can dance better than me. I think I don't dance because I'm so bad at it. Malak is just good enough to dance no matter kind of like what's going on. So Malak was nominated and won the award for 2 Left Feet. I think she can dance great, but yeah. And then on the contrary, the other one is the Best Dancer Award, who was that award was also given to another member of the rugby team. Really great at dancing and not dancing apparently. So Delisha actually won the Best Dancer Award, and there's a lot of videos of Delisha on social media. We don't have one right now, but of her dancing in the change room before games and after games and before practice, and pretty much anytime there's music going on in the change room, Della's dancing. So yeah.
Well, thanks, Roberta, and I can guarantee you I have never flexed in the weight room. I would never dare. So congratulations to you. And if they would have had TikTok back in my day, if I ever would have scored a touchdown, I'd still be in the end zone trying to come up with something now, but thank God that never happened. We've got time for one question I'm going to throw out, and I'm going to ask a question to Ricky. And Ricky, you've done a fantastic job tonight. And being a journalism student, how has that helped you when you're on the other side of the questions? If somebody from the Charlatan or from Carleton Ravens or goravens.ca interviews you about a game, has being a journalism student helped you in the art of being interviewed?
I think for sure it has. Yeah, I mean, 4 years now, I've been able to sort of interview people, and even some of the exercises that we do in class, I have to get interviewed by one of my classmates. So, I mean, just being in that environment all the time and being able to be in those situations and ask questions and get questions asked to me, yeah, for sure, it's definitely helped. I mean, I enjoy speaking, I enjoy asking questions, I enjoy answering them. So, I mean, yeah, it's something I enjoy. And yeah,
so when you score a goal in soccer, there's a lot of emotion, probably more emotion than any other sport. But as an aspiring journalist, what moment do you envision, or who could you land an interview with that could match the excitement of scoring a goal in your future?
That's a good question. I'm just thinking back to my heroes now. Anyone that's like a professional soccer player, any musician, any actor, anyone like that. Honestly, anyone in entertainment is someone who I'd really like to, I guess, just have an interview with, sit down and speak with them.
So if you could interview either Messi or Drake, who would you pick?
I would love to do Messi. He's my favorite player of all time, but Messi doesn't speak a lick of English, so I'm going to go with Drake because I might get a bit more out of that conversation.
All right. Well, thanks very much. And again, great job, everybody. We're so proud of our student athletes at Carleton, and especially this year's graduating class, because what you've gone through is unprecedented in U Sports history and Carleton history. So I'm going to throw it over to Trevor Lewis and let him talk about the next month's Thursday Night Live show.
Thank you very much, Jeff. And I mean, what else can be said? That was simply magnificent show. An incredible job by our star student athletes to really bring the A game again today, and as they have every day for 4 incredible years as proud Ravens. People don't realize this is how much they're juggling academically. Some of the programs that they represent here: science, engineering, criminology, commerce. You know, this is tough study just to do on its own, let alone chasing down the athletics as well, and all those bus rides that we heard about. I just wanted to give out a special thank you to Ricky for the guest host duties, and watch for, I guess, probably for Ricky's rapid fire on a future channel near you someday. Who knows? Also, big props to Cole again for the amazing Ravens Rewind. So I also wanted to thank Jennifer Brenning for the words and update on the moving target that is running a massive athletics organization at Carleton during these challenging times. Our MC extraordinaire, Jeff Morris, for bringing our own in-house media pro for his counsel and guidance. And of course, a special shout out to President Benoit Bacon for his kind, inspirational words. We're indeed feeling optimistic, as we say, and thank you as well, and to you for showing up as the audience, and hope to see you again for the next show, June 3rd, called Leveling the Playing Field, the Women in Sports Show, where we're excited to welcome back student athlete Roberta, who you've seen here on the show, as the guest host for that program, where she will interview Olympian and former Ravens water polo star Wanique Horn-Miller. So that's going to be very exciting. We're welcoming her to the program. We look forward to seeing you back as well. And with that, we'll say stay safe, be well, and so long, everyone.